Okay, good evening and welcome to Take 2, the War Machine and Hordes video blog series. I guess it's a video blog. Sure, we'll call it that. Series where I paint a Privateer Press model and discuss various things about Privateer Press. This week, I am painting the character Warjack Thorn for the Signar faction. Here's my current progress on him. He has a base, he's not glued onto it yet. Pro tip, don't do that. Glue them onto the base and paint around. I wanted to pose him on a fancy base which has multiple layers. I'll show you now. So it's a city street sort of thing with a gutter, and I wanted to paint the base then glue him to the base afterwards. Won't do that again. If you do it and it works, by all means leave a comment letting me know how it goes. And I'm just going to shift straight into the topic. Actually, I might give a little bit of background. So this is called Take 2 because I've tried to record this episode before and it failed miserably. I had some janky name for it, which is now irrelevant. And this is the reboot of my channel. So this is Take 2 on this series and Take 2 on this channel. So I thought that was a fitting name. So what I'm going to be talking about today is my experience with Privateer Press. Privateer Press, for those of you who may not know, although if you're watching this video you probably do, they are a tabletop miniature game company that produces, amongst other things, the tabletop war game of War Machine and Hordes. Two separate games that can be played against each other with 32mm models, tabletop models which are supplied unpainted, so hence why I'm painting them. I play the Signar faction because I am forever a goody two-shoes, and when the game was new where I live, I read over the fiction and decided that they were the best faction in terms of goodness. None of the factions are 100% good, but they seem to be the least evil. I think that's probably the best way to say it. They were the least evil of the factions. So I decided to collect them. So as I said, I've been playing the game for just over 10 years now. I started very early in 2005, maybe late 2004. It was just before the start of No Quarter. I think the first No Quarter I saw in stores was No Quarter 2. And No Quarter 3 was just about to be released. So I've been playing this game for a very long time. I've never been... I don't want to say never been a competitive player. I play this game at a... I would call myself a semi-competitive player. That is that I don't mind attending tournaments. I will attend more than local tournaments if I have the ability to. However, due to other commitments, I can't invest as much time as others do into this game, which I would certainly like to be able to invest more time in the sort of competitive side of the hobby, but at the same point in time, other aspects of life just get in the way. I do apologise. This series is going to be, at least for the moment, the vast majority of it will just be me looking down and rambling at the camera. However, because I lack the funds and the technical ability to have a dual camera setup, this is what you're going to have to deal with for now. I hope eventually to have this be something similar to Painting Buddha. If you guys have seen any of their stuff, they usually have a base camera like me, and then they also have a separate feed with the actual miniature that they're painting, and then an extra feed of their palette. I don't intend on doing the palette side of things just because that's way too complicated for me, and I just, I don't think it's worth it. But it is something that I am looking to have the miniature that I'm painting at the time also have a camera angle on it, and hopefully this will be shifted into a smaller view and you can actually see what I'm painting instead, so those who are actually interested in painting, in the painting aspect of this hobby, can actually enjoy it while I ramble away about whatever topic I've chosen to ramble away about. So speaking of rambling on about a topic which I've chosen, As I said previously, my main faction is Cigna. I have played them not 100% exclusively, but the vast majority of my 10 years playing this game, I have played them. I also own Legion of Everblight from the Horde side of the game because I am a big believer in everybody who plays this game, I believe, should have two factions. One War Machine, one Horde, so you can see how the other side lives. And even if you prefer one to the other. So I definitely prefer Cigna to the Legion. Not because I feel that Cigna's more powerful, not because I feel that Legion's less powerful. It's just because I prefer Cigna because they are the eternal good guys and they suit my playstyle as well, I think. Yeah. So I collected a sizable Cigna force when I began playing, and then shifted when Hordes came out. I shifted into Circle Orboros, but after playing them for a little while, I didn't like the idea of having only war beasts. I like the idea of having powerful troops as well, and this was before things like the Druid UA, and I didn't count the shifting stones because whilst I thought they were powerful, I liked the idea of having an army with troops, with soldiers, because it seemed kind of stupid to me to only have an army or have an army with no soldiers. So yeah, I stopped playing Circle. I then picked up a bit of Crix because, to be honest, Mark 1 Scar Bomb was fun. It was sort of, it was just so janky and fun, and every so often it'd just win you a game. So I loved the Scar Bomb in Mark 1, but I no longer play Crix. I've passed all my Crix on to my son. I've also, as I said, Legion. I have tried Protectorate, didn't much care for it. I don't know. I just didn't feel them. And then... I was wondering, what am I playing right now? I'm playing Mercenaries right now. I just play the Mercenary factions, mostly because I love Ashlyn. Ashlyn D'Elise is the coolest warcaster in that faction by far. It's a shame that she's just so bad on the board. Alright, and I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to fetch my glue. Need to get some new Zapper Gasp soon. However, that's irrelevant at this point. So they're the factions I've played. I've also, I have played Cardall once, and I think that's it. That's my extent of Privateer Press coverage with all of their factions. So I haven't tried any of the newer factions, I guess. I haven't tried Retribution. I haven't tried... No, I have not played Minions. I think I might have played Minions. No, I was intending on playing Minions, but then they released the Minions and I just didn't like their rules. Their rules were boring and crap, and much hasn't changed. But, they look cool. That was the reason why I wanted to play Minions, because I loved the Gator models. But in the end, the rules just weren't good enough. And I didn't like, as I said, I didn't particularly like the Krios style of list. And when Barnabas was... Because I didn't like pigs. I thought pigs were just whatever. Pigs have always been, in my opinion, just fodder. And, again, that isn't something that I don't think has really changed. But I always thought the Gators were cool. And just didn't want to play them when I saw Barnabas's entire army was pop and drop, and they didn't get a lot of heavies, and they still don't have a lot of heavies and light war beasts to use. I thought that was a bit silly. I thought if you were going to make them into sort of at least a semi-legitimate faction, you'd give them more than the current war beast selection that they have. I just don't think it's enough. Which is a shame because like I said, I love their models. The Gator models are some of my favorite models that exist. Right. Sorry, I'm checking to make sure the thorn is actually now properly attached to his base. He seems to be good. Good. Okay. Yeah, so I've played in... I'm not going to go through an entire tournament history because that'd be forever. But I have played almost every year at CanCon that War Machine and Hordes has been available. I've skipped a few years playing Magic. I've skipped, I think... No, I didn't. No, I've skipped a few years playing Magic, Game of Thrones, the World of Warcraft trading card game. Was heavily invested in that game. And yeah. So, but I played in most of the CanCons, and have never. I'm always the middleman. That's where I come, regardless of the lists I take or the opponents I play. It doesn't matter who or where it is or what it is I'm playing. You always come within. I think it's within 3 of the dead center. Now, of course, if it's an 8-player tournament, that's a big jump, but that's not. In 8-player tournaments, I come 4th or 5th. But in players, the higher the players, the slightly further away I get from the center. So I'm hoping to do a lot better with Haley 3 now that she's been released, because I've never been the biggest fan of the Haleys. Not because they were too good or anything like that. Haley 1 doesn't mesh with me. She doesn't fit my playstyle at all. I don't like that cast a spell, walk forward, warcaster does nothing type of thing. Although that would indicate that I shouldn't be playing Signar. That's not true. Yeah, and I've never owned Haley 2. Mostly because I haven't had an opportunity to I never really gave her any thought. She was just like, oh yeah, she's good, but I don't own her, so who cares? But now I'm sort of thinking, well, I probably should invest in her if I'm looking to shift a little bit to the more competitive side of things. But Haley 3 has definitely intrigued me enough, and with Cognifex Siphon being the only new Mercenaries release, I have no intention of getting back into Mercs at this point. Maybe if Ashlyn goes epic and gets, a character jack. I think that's the other problem I have with Mercenaries at this point in time, to continue harping on this. The only good non-colossal warjack they have is Rocinante. In terms of heavies, I mean, if you include lights, you could get a Vanguard in there too. So the human casters have very little if you can't run a colossal, which Ashlyn obviously can't, and there's nothing that can make her better in terms of warjacks. And I don't like the infantry machine thing. I like a mixed force. That's the way. That's ideally what I like, which is why in my Haley list I'm running a jack which costs as much as a cheap heavy, and then and then an actual heavy on top of that, and then a unit of cav, then a unit of infantry, and then and then some support. So, or at least that's what I'm planning on running at this stage. Whether I change the list or not, we'll see. Yeah, so I'm a balanced kind of guy, and Mercenaries don't do balance. You need dude spam for days in in terms of Cephalix, or you need colossal spam for days in terms of Bart, Osram, Durgan, Gorton, and I don't like that idea because one, it doesn't really do anything for Ashlyn because Ashlyn can't run a colossal, and dude spam doesn't really work in the current meta as much because mostly dude spams can't get through high armor, and I mean, they work, I guess. I don't know. I don't know the last time I've seen a heavy dude spam list work because there's the prevalence of AoEs and Gatsby 2. Stupid Gatsby 2. Yeah. So, this will be sort of my wrap-up step where I explain what's coming up. My intention is to do one of these a fortnight and then do a battle report once a month. That might change. I ideally would like to do a battle once a fortnight and this once a fortnight, and then have them alternating so new content comes out every week. But it depends on how hard this is to edit. It depends on my availability and the availability of an opponent who would like to be streamed. The stream is not something I can guarantee because I live in Australia and the internet here is shocking. If I do manage to get Twitch up and running, the link to the channel will be in the description. Is there anything else? Well, I mean, if the battle is not streamed, it will be put up on YouTube. So, and if once it's streamed, it will then be put up on YouTube anyway. So, I think there is nothing else to discuss. I haven't picked a topic for next week. If you would like me to discuss a topic, again, I don't expect many views on this bit, and I don't expect a lot of suggestions. But if you do have a topic you'd like me to discuss, by all means, leave it in the comments, and I will consider them. Yeah. So until next time, play like you have a pet.